The palace guards resembled humanoid lions made of obsidian smoke. They didn't speak. They escorted me through corridors where the walls glowed with internal nebulae. Every step echoed softly, like walking on the surface of a dream. "Pilot Jackson Hale?" A musical voice echoed behind me. I turned and forgot how to breathe. Queen Varenth wasn't human, but something more magnificent, more fluid and radiant. Her form shimmered like molten silver, her eyes swirling galaxies of violet and gold. She was tall, almost 3 meters, but her posture was gentle, warm. She bowed her head respectfully, which I absolutely didn't deserve. "You came," she said, when so many did not. I wasn't sure the summons was real. It was real. Her expression dimmed like a fading star. "And so is our need." She motioned for me to walk with her through a hall where constellations moved across the ceiling like living maps. "You have questions," she continued softly. "I will answer them honestly." I swallowed. "Your Highness, what exactly does the Kingdom Needs Heirs mean?" She released a faint, sad glow. Our ancient bloodline carried not just authority, but stability. My ancestors' energy helped bind the Etherian star systems, ensuring peace and unity. But the lineage is fading. I am the last. Without heirs of any kind, the binding will collapse. The consequences were staggering. Regions would fragment, rival houses would wage war, space lanes would become lawless. "So," I whispered, "you need someone to continue the line?" She nodded. "Not necessarily through biological means alone. Our energy can bond with other species in symbolic, ceremonial, and sometimes hybrid forms. Humanity is uniquely resilient, emotionally, mentally. You endure. And that endurance is something our line desperately needs." That didn't make the idea less intimidating. "Why me?" I asked. She paused before a tall crystalline archway. "Because you answered," she said softly. "And because the universe responds to the brave." The doors opened, and so began my role in the greatest gamble the kingdom had ever taken. Middle, training a human to become an heir-bearer. The palace chambers assigned to me were so vast they could have held my entire home colony inside. Floating lanterns drifted through the rooms like tiny suns. Curtains shimmered with cosmic winds. My bed reassembled itself to match my physiology every night. But luxury didn't prevent terror. Queen Varenth had informed me I would undergo Etherian bonding preparation, a fusion of diplomacy training, energy alignment sessions, and cultural immersion. Basically, I had to learn to live like a royal consort of a star empress. And none of it was easy. My first lesson was painful, literally. "Focus on the resonance," instructed Alindra, the queen's advisor, a being shaped like a humanoid prism. "Let your energy align. Humans are adaptable. You can do this." I tried. Lights danced around me as the chamber hummed. My bones felt like they were turning into vibrating crystal. "I'm trying," I shouted, lungs burning. Resonance alignment required syncing your bioenergy with Etherian frequencies. Humans weren't designed for that. But the more I failed, the more determined I became. Days passed. Weeks. Maybe months. The palace didn't track time the way humans did. Queen Varenth visited often. Sometimes to observe. Sometimes to encourage. Sometimes simply to sit with me during recovery, her presence soothing the ache in my chest. One night, if you could call it night, she materialized beside my balcony as I stared out at the oceans of floating starlight. "You are progressing," she said gently. "Barely." "Barely," she repeated with amusement, "is still progress." I sighed. "Your Highness, I'm afraid I'll fail you." "Fail the kingdom?" She turned fully toward me. Her face, The closest thing Etherians had to one softened. "May I show you something?" I nodded. She placed a hand of shimmering light to my forehead, and the universe bloomed. I saw the bloodline stretching back millions of years. I saw empires constructed from hope, wars halted by compassion, civilizations protected beneath the Etherian banner. I saw Varanth ruling alone, bearing the crushing weight of expectation. Then I saw a vision of the future, regions collapsing into chaos if no air rose to stabilize the starbounds. I gasped, stumbling back into reality. "You carry this alone?" I whispered. "Not anymore," she whispered. My fear didn't vanish, but for the first time, purpose outweighed it. The political storm. Just as training improved, the kingdom erupted. A rival house, the Dominion of Krindrax, challenged the queen's claim, declaring the bloodline too weak to survive. Their war fleets assembled at the outer rim. The palace shook with news and rumors. Advisors ran through halls. War tables projected battle simulations. And I suddenly understood. Without an heir, the queen's authority was fragile. The Krindrax believed she was vulnerable. And maybe she was. One evening, as I studied diplomacy protocols, Queen Varanth entered my chamber without ceremony. Her glow was dimmer, stressed. "Jackson, there is something I must ask of you sooner than planned." My throat dried. "The bonding." "Yes." She hesitated. "The kingdom must see progress. They must see hope in physical form, an air bond between us." "Can humans even handle the bonding?" I asked quietly. "It is risky," she admitted. "But you are stronger than you know." I exhaled. "Then I'll do it." "Are you certain?" "No," I said truthfully, "but I'm willing." She placed her fingertips against mine. Energy sparked, warm and immediate. "Thank you," she whispered. The bonding took place in the celestial nexus, a chamber shaped like a floating sphere of liquid light. The walls displayed the entire kingdom in real time, star clusters, planet networks, warp lanes like glowing spiderwebs. Hundreds gathered, royal advisors, diplomats, warriors, ethereal beings of pure energy. I was terrified, standing there in ceremonial garments woven from stardust threads. Queen Varanth approached, luminous as a supernova. "Let our energies intertwine," she proclaimed in the ancient tongue. She took my hands. The chamber darkened. Then light. It poured through me like molten gold. My senses expanded outward. I felt the queen's history, her hopes, her fears. I felt the kingdom's pulse, the delicate dance of cosmic balance. I felt her trust in me. My body trembled violently, but I didn't let go. A collective gasp filled the chamber as our energies merged into a single burst of radiant silver and human red. A hybrid flare, never before seen, rose above us like a newborn star. The bond was forged, and the kingdom erupted with hope. After the ceremony, a human in the center of a galactic storm, every news network broadcast the bonding. Every allied species celebrated. Even neutral factions acknowledged the stabilization the bond brought. But Krindrax did not. Within days, their armada crossed into restricted space. Threats became ultimatums. "Your bond is false," they claimed. "Humans are weak. The line will fail." They demanded the queen surrender her throne. She refused. And war loomed. But Varanth was not afraid. She stood at the war table, radiant and controlled, and declared, "With my human consort bonded, the Etherian line is renewed. Our kingdom stands." Consort. That word took a moment to register. I wasn't just her chosen partner for the bond. I had become, in the eyes of the kingdom, her consort, her counterpart, her partner. And somehow the title didn't feel wrong. When the Queen walked beside me, when she looked at me as though we shared a future the stars themselves approved of, it felt right. Even if the war ahead threatened to shatter everything. The battle for the airline, the Krindrak's armada descended like a swarm of dark suns. Astroprime shook as ships locked into defensive formation. The palace shields glittered with incoming fire. Queen Varenth turned to me. Jackson, your presence stabilizes the Nexus energy. With you, our planetary shields will hold. You must stay connected to the chamber core. Stay alive, you mean? Yes. And you? What will you do? She smiled softly. Fight for our future. I pressed my hand against hers, energy humming between us. Then come back. I'm not doing this alone. Her eyes softened. You will never be alone again. Then she left, glorious, determined, to lead her forces. The core chamber. I stood inside the core chamber, a heart of swirling cosmic energy. My bond with Varenth allowed me to channel stability into the shield network. It burned through my nerves, but I held on. Explosions rocked the palace. Krindrak's war beams hammered the shield. I gritted my teeth, forcing my energy outward. If the shield collapsed, the kingdom fell. The core AI spoke calmly. Human endurance level, extraordinary. Continuing stabilization. Hours passed, maybe days. Then, a piercing light flashed across the chamber screens. The Queen's flagship had engaged the Krindrak's commander directly. Etherian energy clashed with dark plasma. My heart seized. Varenth, suddenly the bond flared painfully, as if struck. I felt her weakening. I felt her fear. I felt her calling my name across the void. Jackson. No, I shouted. Don't you dare fall. I poured every ounce of human stubbornness, desperation, and raw willpower into the bond, forcing strength back through the connection. The chamber walls exploded with radiance. The bond ignited like a star. And on the battlefield, Queen Varenth surged with renewed power. I saw it through the screens, her entire form blazing brighter than ever before. She struck. The Krindrak's flagship shattered in a cascade of dark light. The rest of the enemy fleet broke formation and fled. The war was over. The airline, our bond, had saved the kingdom. Ending the heir of 2 worlds. Days later, the palace celebrated victory with a coronation ceremony unlike any in history. Queen Varenth stood tall, luminous in full regalia. And beside her, wearing deep black ceremonial attire lined with starlight threads, stood me, her bonded consort. The crowd of thousands roared as she raised her hand. The Etherian kingdom endures, she declared. Our future is secured, not by ancient blood alone, but by courage, unity, and a human heart brave enough to answer our call. She turned to me, her glow softening. Jackson Hale, she said, voice carrying through the cosmos, you are no longer merely a volunteer. You are part of the royal line. And together, we will guide our kingdom into a new era. She extended her hand. I took it. A hybrid star, our bond, shimmered above us, symbol of the new airline born through courage rather than blood. And as the kingdom celebrated, I realized something. I hadn't saved them alone. We saved each other. The galaxies stretched endless and hopeful before us. And I, once a lonely cargo pilot, now walked beside a queen of starlight, as the first human heir-bearer to a cosmic throne.